Good morning, it's James. Hey, I hope this message finds you and your loved ones peaceful, thriving, and well. You know, this morning's message is something I believe you are going to deeply connect with. I think this community, this is how we're wired. This is what we love to be each and every day. In this time of the year, don't you feel there's such an opportunity because of emotional contagion, because of the elevation of spirit that's happening between the holidays and people coming together, probably a lot of reflection this year based on many of the things that we've seen over the last year plus. And probably more than anything, I think that most of us are absolutely feeling a deeper dedication to wanting to see how we can outpicture what's in our heart. If there's anything I've learned over this past year plus is that if I have any reservoirs that I've been holding back of love, of kindness, of compassion, and holding it back for whatever reason, not feeling safe, not feeling open to being vulnerable like that, not wanting to expose my complete self in case, what if I'm rejected? What if I'm ridiculed? What if I'm whatever, right? Don't you just know that your life is on the line more than ever? And not in a dramatic way, but in a loving way. Your life is on the line. Each and every day, we get a chance to choose how we're going to show up for our life. And if there's anything that I know that we have learned this past year plus, it is that why would I ever hold back on what I know in my heart is true and needs to come through me? Because when I can't circulate, when I choose not to circulate, I feel like I don't want to circulate it for risking to be seen, I only find myself sadder and lonelier and more in despair than I would ever be if I was to put it all out there, regardless of the outcome. That's what our purpose is, isn't it? To be on purpose means to be in the space of grace and fully put yourself on the line. When your love is on the line, it has a deep, absolute, penetrating purpose. But if we're on outcome, like how's it going to turn out? Then that's the ego. The ego comes in and wonders whether or not we're going to be seen as worthy, whether or not we're going to be hurt, whether or not we're going to be ridiculed. I think everyone here, any person who's been on a spiritual path long enough, we have been hurt for caring. We have been ridiculed at times for loving that deeply and that openly. Our vulnerability has often exposed us in ways that we didn't know whether or not was going to be safe. And then ultimately we said, all I care about is being true. So I want to share with you a beautiful thing that happens under the influence of circulating your goodness. This time of the year, when so many people across the planet are probably more open, more ready, more caught up in the energetic flow to expose themselves to kindness, to love, to compassion. And I want to share with you 5 beautiful things that happen under the influence of that circulation. And I want to call you forward today. I want to speak to you as your brother, as your friend, and I want to speak to you as a co-conspirator that knows, we know, that every single moment of this life is precious in the way that we will feel like we have occupied the space that we were given, the grace that we were given to stand in our truth. We knew we had to do something awesome with it. Something heroic, something courageous that had nothing to do with our ego, nothing to do with our outcome, but only had to do with whether or not we chose to show up with our heart out loud. The first thing that happens when we circulate love and kindness with no expectation, we expose and then we circulate these things called endogenous opioids. Great word, right? Endogenous opioids. And the word opioid is supercharged, as it should be, because there has been some of the darkest things that any of us have ever seen in relationship to epidemics and drug abuse with the opioid epidemic. But I want you to know that endogenous means these are natural inside of you. These are things that we create, and they literally have a pain-killing, emotional pain-killing, physical pain-killing, all kinds of ways they fight inflammation. They're endogenous, and when we are kind and loving and we circulate that, our body produces this. It actually acts as a painkiller. So whatever emotional stuff that we have that we carry that's painful, whatever physical pain that we may be experiencing, the more we can increase the release and the circulation and the open flow of the endogenous opioids, we are naturally killing pain and we're healing. Just let that just marinate in your heart. The second thing that happens is that we improve the circulation of oxytocin. Along with it, something called nitric oxide, which helps to fight pain and inflammation at our heart level, but also opens up the blood vessels. So it fights hypertension. It improves our circulation. At the same time, it opens up channels. So our feeling of trust and empathy and forgiveness at an empathetic emotional level has never been higher. And when we circulate it, it literally increases our openness to receive it and to circulate it. Number 3, we age slower. The main biomarkers for aging literally decrease. They slow down. They kind of, if you will, they go into a holding pattern. Think about that. When you're holding a space of grace and when you're emanating kindness and you're circulating love, the aging hormones, the ones that fast forward the aging process when we're under stress, when we're feeling disconnected, when we're feeling judgment, when we're gossiping and all that other stuff, creating separation, that slows down and we go into holding pattern of love. Aging slows and moves into a space where all is well. Peace at a physiological level. Number 4, we decrease the emotional distance between you and others. And let's just be really honest. There's been a lot of us and them. Way too much us and them. And aren't you just knowing that the only way we will get through this is better together, coming together? We can let go of the judgments, move into a space where we see with fresh, soft eyes. That emotional distance happens when we're not on outcome, but we're on purpose. Our purpose simply to be love. And lastly, yes, all of this, every single one of these things are contagious. Simply meaning that when we are living this, when we are exposing this, when we are circulating this, people around us can't help but want to copy and emulate and follow. This is a profoundly open time because so many of us are already thinking in this way. But thinking isn't enough. We must act. We must be moving on this. It begins with you, it begins with me, it begins with us to be this beneficial presence planet. Show up, heart open, on purpose, letting go of outcome, and celebrating a life well lived now. A life well lived now. Thank you for the gift that you are, the gifts that you circulate. I see you, I love you, and I appreciate you. Peace and blessings. Bye for now.